So, a new year is upon us, and with a new year comes new games. Well, I hope you all had a good holiday, and for those of you that did join us for the Christmas stream, I thank you for tuning in. Just wanted to say, once again, congratulations to the winners of our White Elephant giveaway, Tony, Lindsay, Amari, Trisha, and Nick, for winning on our giveaway. But anyway, as the title may or may not have suggested, we just wanted to start off the year by taking a look forward and seeing what we have in store. So we just took a little bit to kind of discuss amongst ourselves, and we kind of came up with a little list of the games that we are most looking forward to. But I'll just go ahead and get right into the list, because it is kind of a lengthy list, so yeah, here it is. And to start off with, I'll just go over the ones that are confirmed, so I can go over them chronologically, and then I'll just kind of jump into the other ones that are speculative, and some that are that if even. Okay, well, this year gets off to a killer start with Resident Evil 2, the remake. Now, many of you have seen the previews for it, and in fact, as we speak, there's a demo of the game, which I'm not touching myself, but I hear is a pretty killer experience. But I am looking forward. I've already purchased the game, got it downloaded, just waiting for the release date, and I will be playing the crap out of that. Originally released just over 20 years ago, Resident Evil 2 is probably one of my favorite games of the original PlayStation generation. I did play the original Resident Evil quite a bit, but Resident Evil 2 was my jam. That was my favorite in the series personally, so I'm really looking forward to playing that one. And then coming up just a few days later, January 29th, is the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now that one is not necessarily for me personally, but it is probably in the list of confirmed release dates, the biggest release so far this year. It is going to be huge. Now we jump into February. February is going to be the most wallet-destroying month of the year so far. It has 5 games, all of which I am looking forward to playing. Hopefully I'll be able to get them all. Not sure, but we'll see. Starting it off with February 15th is going to be Crackdown 3. That one has been in development limbo for a decent amount of time, with a couple, if not a few, delays on the release. I played the original Crackdown way back when and really enjoyed it. Didn't think it was the most mind-blowing or innovative gameplay, but I had a lot of fun playing it and put a decent amount of hours into it. What is going to be really awesome about this is it features Terry Crews as basically like the main protagonist. I believe it is basically like a fictionalized version of him as the character. We'll see. I'm really looking forward to playing that one though, because it's looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. So fingers crossed it doesn't get delayed again. And on the same day is going to be Far Cry New Dawn. It is a spin-off of Far Cry 5, which is the first actually Far Cry that I had ever played. And just given the way people describe the other ones compared to it, I think I'll go back and eventually play the other ones. But I definitely am looking forward to this one. It's not a full AAA release. It is going to retail for like, I think $35, $40, something like that. It's going to be based off of the Far Cry 5 game, like post-ending kind of thing, which won't go into spoilers, but needless to say, like it ends on an interesting note, and this kind of continues on from there. So I am looking forward to seeing where it goes. And we have a third release on the 15th of February. It is Jump Force. I am a huge fan of all the IPs in the game. Fighting games, not my first choice as far as genres are concerned, but I do like to play them from time to time. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Got some friends that are really looking forward to it, so that one should be a pretty big release. And a fourth one coming out the 15th of February, which is Metro Exodus. That one is a continuation of the series of Metro games based on the Russian novels. I am a big fan of the post-apocalyptic genres with all the mutation-y business and everything. And as of yet, I haven't really seen much as far as what the gameplay is like. I'm assuming it is going to be kind of just a next step progression of the existing Metro gameplay. As far as story, I actually really don't know anything about it. I'm not even actually sure if it's still tied into the books or if this is kind of a standalone story continuation. Looking forward to seeing what it's all about. And of course, to round out the month of February, on February 22nd, we see the release of Anthem. Now, many of you remember the lackluster release of Mass Effect Andromeda, and a lot of people believe that that game suffered due to the fact that they focused too much on this upcoming game, Anthem. Now, whether or not that's the case, I am not sure. I would assume they have multiple teams working on multiple projects. I feel like a lot of people are going to have a hard time buying this game, or if nothing else, might even just not get it out of spite because of the poor quality that Mass Effect Andromeda was. This one, I can speak for pretty much everybody on the RNG team that we're all looking forward to seeing this game, seeing what it's about, seeing what it's capable of, because of the fact that it's coming from a pretty amazing studio as far as game releases, huge worlds, awesome gameplay, and if nothing else, if this game ends up being solid, then maybe they'll have a bit of redemption for themselves after the previous turnout. March 15th sees the release of Tom Clancy's The Division 2. While on the topic of lackluster releases, The Division had kind of a tumultuous start. For those that still play it, I've been told that the game has corrected a lot of its errors, smoothed out a lot of its bumps, and it is now a very solid gaming experience. So hopefully they take all those lessons learned, kind of an ongoing theme here. Hopefully they learn from previous mistakes. Now they changed the setting, but it looks like the gameplay is pretty much going to be a straight carryover from the original game, which I am fine with because I really enjoyed the format of the game. The interface, the gameplay, and the mechanics. As far as like the weapon power mechanics, I was kind of not the biggest fan of that, but it's a minute detail, but for the most part, if they carry forward how the previous game played, I think it'll be a solid experience, so definitely looking forward to that. The last month of the year that we currently have solid release dates for games that we're really looking forward to is April. April 23rd, we have Mortal Kombat 11. Not really much I can say about Mortal Kombat 11 other than it's Mortal Kombat, so it's gonna be a lot of gore, a lot of amazing and interesting and unique ways to murder your enemies, so that should be fun. Besides that, it's going to be a lot of memorizing button combos. Not looking forward to that, but I definitely want to play the game if for no other reason than, much like Jump Force, it's a title that I'm a fan of and kind of want to see how the game comes together, how all those moves play out. What's unique about this one, as opposed to all the rest of the games that we've mentioned on the list so far, is that this one's coming out on the Switch. So I am very interested to see how it plays on the Switch, just because it is a smaller and not quite as powerful system, so it's always interesting to see where the differences are from PC to Xbox PlayStation console, from Xbox PlayStation console to Nintendo Switch, because there is that drop-off of performance, so it's interesting to see where they cut the corners and everything, especially in a fighting game, so it should be interesting one way or the other. For the rest of April, we have a bunch of Final Fantasy games, and these are all, of course, ports of previous versions of Final Fantasy. And just to go down the list, we have Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, 10, Final Fantasy X-2, and Final Fantasy XII. Now, the Final Fantasy VII and 9 are pretty much the originals. I believe there's like a graphical boost like they did for the PC release. Is probably going to be that one, a ported version of that. The 10 and 10-2 is the HD remaster, so that one's going to be like a relatively modern version of it. I believe the HD remaster came out like 2-3 years ago, so that one should be pretty solid. Looking forward to checking those out, if nothing else, and this is kind of weird, this is kind of a me thing, is looking forward to getting the achievements in Final Fantasy X, so I have something to show for all that time I spent in that game. Of course, I'm gonna have to spend all that time again, so there is that. At the time of this recording, we only have release dates for Final Fantasy X, 10-2 HD remaster, which is the 16th, and then Final Fantasy XII, which is the 30th. 7 and 9 do not currently have release dates, but they are slated for April, as far as I can understand. 8, for some reason, they're not porting out, or at least not at this time. Not sure why that is. Pam's kind of disappointed in that, because that's her favorite. My personal favorite is 10, so I'm glad about that. Renee's favorite is 9, so she's got that one going. 12, I don't know if any of us have played that one, but I might just get that one just because I've never played it before. Well, that rounds out the games that have confirmed release dates for this year, and of course it is early in the year, and they usually get the solid release dates 2 and 3 months, maybe a few more in some cases. So the rest of the ones I'm going to be talking about are going to be ones that are scheduled for this year, but do not have release dates. Some are like, it's definitely coming out this year, they just don't have a specific date, and others, it's like, why is it even on the calendar? I'm just going to go down the list in the order that I have it on this piece of paper. So to start with, we have Untitled new Battletoads game, which I am going to venture to guess that it will indeed come out this year because just the nature of the game and the development cycle, and I could be way off on that, but yeah, I'm going to imagine that it is. As far as I know, there is no footage or gameplay right now, but it is, to my understanding, going to be a side-scroller, so it should be fairly similar to the original Battletoads games. If it's similar in difficulty, I will never beat them, but should still be fun. And of course, do be sure to call up your local GameStop and ask them when you can pre-order the new Battletoads game. Now, this is one that I am definitely looking forward to. I cannot wait till it comes out, and I hope it actually does come out this year. It is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It is the independently produced Kickstarter game by Koji Igarashi. You may know him from titles like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, very similar naming convention there. One of my favorite games of all time. From what I have read about it so far, this is supposed to be kind of like a spiritual successor, similar in gameplay mechanics, art style, among other things. If it is even half the game that Symphony of the Night was, I'm going to love it. It has been delayed quite a bit, so hopefully that just means that they spent more time on it to make it as good as they can, and they're nearing the end of that. So hopefully it will come out this year, but if I have to wait a little bit longer just because they want the game to be perfect, I am okay with that. Either way, I am absolutely looking forward to playing that game. And then we have Doom Eternal, which that one, I feel like that one's kind of a similar situation as Far Cry New Dawn, where it is more of a continuation of the previous game, like not quite DLC, but not quite an independent release either, somewhere in between. Either way, it looks like it's just going to be more of the same, which is awesome Doom goodness. That one is, I am absolutely buying that one, and I am certainly looking forward to playing it. And if you go onto Amazon, you can pre-order it right now. This is the case with quite a few of the games, which from here on out, I'll just mention it's an Amazon pre-order, it is scheduled for release December 31st, 2019, which is very obviously a placeholder date, and they don't actually have a release date, but the fact that you can pre-order it at all tells me that it is closer than further from release. Hopefully that's a good sign, and hopefully we'll see it sometime this year. And then we have Gears 5, which that's not coming out this year. It ended up on a list of games coming up in 2019, but given the fact that it is the scope of game that it is, and that this past E3 all we got was a little bit of a cinematic trailer, probably going to be another year or two. Probably. I could be wrong. It'd be awesome if I wasn't, but yeah, probably not happening this year. And then we have an interesting one. This one I actually did not realize existed until I was looking at games that were coming up this year, which is Minecraft Dungeons. Obviously, like if you're familiar with Minecraft Dungeons is based in the Minecraft universe, so much as it has like the Minecraft characters and everything. From what I can gather though, it is more akin to Telltale's Minecraft, where it has the imagery of Minecraft, but it's not like in-engine Minecraft gameplay, because it's going to be an isometric dungeon crawler. From what I've seen so far, like it has like the Minecraft characters, but it looks like it's going to be like newly rendered and animated assets, and not straight out of Minecraft, and then they just added rules to a Minecraft world. It doesn't look like there's anything to imply that it will indeed come out this year, but that could change at any time, so hopefully sooner than later. This one, I'll just quickly throw a blurb in there. It is a currently untitled new Pokemon game. Speculation is that it is going to be the next in the main series, so more information when I have it. And another one coming up that really not too much information on as of yet is The Outer Worlds, which if you watch the Game Awards, you would have seen a trailer for it. It was brief, but it was very interesting. There was like a Rick-looking character in there. Kind of had a feel of like something between like Prey and BioShock. The information at this time is relatively sparse. It looks like visually it's going to be an amazing game. gameplay-wise, there really isn't much to know about it yet, so that one I'm more interested to just see more about what's coming up than I am necessarily expecting a release this year. And then we got Wolfenstein Young Blood, which that one looks like it's gonna be a killer romp. If they continue with the writing and the direction that they've had with the previous games, it's gonna be an awesome game. It is currently available for pre-order, so hopefully that means sooner than later. And then we got World of Warcraft Classic, which I think it's on the list more for relevance than it is for anybody necessarily looking forward to it, because even those among us that are big World of Warcraft players, namely Pam, and I know she at the very least has spoken to the fact that the game doesn't look very interesting. Like, I think it is more fan service for those that just kind of want a nostalgia trip than it is a game that anybody's necessarily looking forward to as an experience. So World of Warcraft Classic, if it ends up being a free-to-play game, I might check it out. I've never played a World of Warcraft game before, so if it's something I could check out real quick and it's the simplest version of it, like it's a vanilla version of a complex game, that actually would be, now that I think about it, might be an interesting way to introduce somebody to the genre, but we'll have to see. Ooh, and here's some interesting news. Metroid Prime 4. Just this past week, there was a bit of a kerfuffle over the fact that there was a leak online about the release date being this year. Specifically, the release date was set for November 29th. Now, it might be a thing where it is a filler date because it is the end of a month, but two things tell me it's not, or three things actually. One is it's not the last day of the month, and that the day that it is a Tuesday, which is typical game release day. And then the other thing is November, not December. So this seems like a perfect timing holiday release kind of circumstance. And I feel like if that was true, like it was leaked, but it actually is going to be coming out that day, that I would look forward to seeing something at E3, like something big. Or if nothing else, I know they have some of their own events, but something in the next few months, we're going to see something big about Metroid Prime. It's going to be a huge reveal, if indeed it is coming out this year. And moving down the list, we have The Pathless, which is... It's a new IP made by the people that made Abzu, if that's of any help to what to expect from the game. The art style is really impressive. As far as the gameplay, haven't really seen too much of that yet. It's been primarily just cinematics, so be interested to see what that has coming up. On the official site, it does say 2019, so it will most likely come out this year, just probably later in the year than earlier. Next, we have Phoenix Point, which is from the makers of XCOM. Chaz is a fan of that genre. I haven't played it too much myself. I'm not sure who all else has. It looks like it's along the same lines as XCOM, so we'll have to see though. And of course, the last on the list of games that are, if nothing else, rumored, scheduled, or speculated to be coming out this year is Cyberpunk 2077. I am very skeptical of that actually being the release date. I'm not even sure if that release date is just a number people threw around, if it was a hopeful number. Given how long the development cycle has been on this game, I am not super hopeful that it is going to come out this year, but you never know. And if it does, awesome. I am definitely, and I believe I speak for everybody on this one when I say we are absolutely looking forward to checking this game out. So we shall see. Okay, and before I close it out, just go over a couple of little side notes. We have the Atari VCS, which is basically a Atari classic. It is a mini console. It's a mini console that features a lot of your favorite games that were found on the original Atari 2600, I think. Supposedly, the price at release is going to be $200. I hope that's wrong, but we'll see. We also have the recently announced Razer Turret, which is the keyboard and mouse combo that is now specialized for the Xbox console. As you may or may not know, the Xbox has recently added full mouse and keyboard functionality, and of course it's up to the developers to add that functionality to their games. Suggested retail for it is $250, and currently it does not have an exact release date, but you can go onto the Razer website and get an alert if you'd like to know when it is. And then finally, I just wanted to touch on this just because it is fresh news, just happened this week, is Bungie splitting from Activision, and they are keeping Destiny. Bungie is working on new content. Some of that is expected to come out this year, so it'll be interesting to see how their separation from Activision affects the way and when they release their content. Because at this time, PC release of Destiny is on the Blizzard launcher. I wouldn't imagine they would remove it from it or change the fact that they release their content on there, but if nothing else, we might see Destiny added to maybe Steam or Epic Launcher or something like that because of the end of their distribution agreement with Activision. If that's the case, I'd be interested to see how that works out. But yeah, so we have that to look forward to, seeing what kind of things happen with Activision. Well, that's enough for this list, and I do appreciate you tuning in and checking this out and sticking around all the way to the end of this video. Now, you tell me, let me know in the comments or tweet at me or at Real Neat Games what it is you're looking forward to seeing. What do you want to see this year that you haven't so far, and what is confirmed coming out this year that you're most looking forward to? What's the number one thing on your to-buy list or to pre-order list, as the case may be? Like I said, thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, let me know, and if you didn't, let me know. And I will see you next time.